Hey everyone, this is Alan over at Cobblers Plus in Denver, Colorado. Some of you guys may have seen my post that I posted that I was going to be making a little test layout basically of different products to put on the bottom of your soles to condition and protect them. So I'll kind of give you guys a couple of samples. I've got pieces here that I have marked up and everything that I had done last night, so I've given these all time to cure, activate, and soak in overnight. Basically each square here is got a section halfway through right about here on the what's my left hand side. I don't know what it looks like for you guys on the camera exactly, but this section here had a coat just placed over top, and then the right hand side had a coat placed over top, the edges, and the bottom. Now the pieces I'm using today are actually veg tan belting material. It's a little thick, but my intention was to make sure that it's something that hasn't been heavily treated with different fats or oils or anything like that, like you can find in some different soles and other leather products. So I try to find something that's as neutral as possible, just to give you guys a better understanding of what it's like. So if you have a higher grade leather sole than just a regular veg tan piece, it'll definitely work a lot better for you on any of these items that I'm going to be showing you guys. But just for this purpose, this is what I'm trying to do, is just show you guys what it's like as far as holding up and conditioning. Now we'll start out with the infamous sole guard. Everybody's always complaining about it, always talking about it, asking does it work, does it not? Well, today we're gonna find out. So the way I have it laid out is I've got one piece of stripping for each item that I have used, each product that I've used, sorry. First one that we'll be testing out is a single coat that we did. Again, left and right side, we've got just the top portion was treated, and then the other one is treated with the edges, the bottom, and the top on it. But again, single coat, double coat. Now the first coat I put on for everything, I'd given it about an hour to soak in and start to work its magic, and then after an hour I went through, and on the second strips I put that second coat on, and then again I left everything overnight so that it cured and worked its magic. All right, so we're gonna grab our spray bottle here. This is just regular old water, nothing too fancy. We're not using anything too crazy, and we'll start out with the sole guard one and just literally just spritz it over top, and you can see that the water is settling. That's our goal, is to try to figure out how well it settles over top, because it's not like you're gonna take a step into a puddle and it's just gonna drip right off. You applied a bit of pressure into there. You guys have probably seen other YouTubers and everyone doing it where they just spritz it or dribble a little bit of water and it soaks in. I mean, doesn't soak in, just rolls right off. Well, unfortunately that's not how we walk. We don't walk where we just barely tap the raindrops, So this kind of gives you an idea. After a single spritz, this is with that single coat of the sole guard. It doesn't seem like it's soaking through or anything. All right, so it did of course get absorbed a little bit through the top. Usually that will happen. Most of these products are designed to penetrate into the leather, not designed to be settling over top, so that your leather soles do not absorb the water. Now they will take on a little bit of water at the top layer of the leather. Basically everything will. There's no guarantee ever. There's no way of completely sealing it up where you're gonna not get any kind of water in whatsoever. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea there. There's a little bit of a splat discoloration from the water, and now we're gonna move on to the second one. Okay, well, after spritzing it, some of it seems to be rolling off fairly well. Now later on in the video, we're gonna do a few more tests through it. This is just to kind of have a visual here. We're actually gonna soak these a bit more in water instead of just spraying it, and then run it through our 5-in-1 cutter that I have over here. Unfortunately it's kind of out of camera's view, but we'll cut in directly into the material to see just how deep the water penetrated after we soak it in this bowl of water. All right, so we've got the first one there. So single and double coat. This is the double coat right here, and this is the single. Again, you can feel that it's a little slightly damp, but nothing too too serious. Now at the bottom here, on the section where I did not treat it on the bottom area, you can see the darker spot there that was treated. This is the lighter spot that wasn't treated. I definitely don't feel any kind of moisture whatsoever on the double coat, and not on the single coat either. All right, now these are thinner pieces. Most soles, that's your average sole thickness, say for a pair of Allen Edmonds, Aldens, and a lot of other Goodyear welted shoes. All right, now we're going to move on to oil. This is just regular vegetable oil that you cook with. This is a single coat here, and we'll put the double coat right next to it. Okay. Okay, reacted about the same. Nothing has changed or anything. Kind of dribbled off a little bit as well. All right, now the next one that we tested out is the Surfine Saphir Cream from the Beaute to Cuir line. This is just a neutral cream. It's beeswax based. Same exact story applies here. You know, single coat, double coat. You could definitely feel a little bit of a difference between the single and double coat on this, just as a side note. Spritz there, spritz there. Ooh, what we got here? Look at that. And that water is sitting there. This is the double coat right here, and I sprayed directly on it. Single coat, you know, you can see a few spots there. Package come in, but it looks like, see, it's just sitting there, and you can see a couple little spots right there, and that's just from the Surfine cream, that double coat. Man, that stuff's working out great. But again, this is just without actually directly soaking it. This is just quite literally a single spritz. All right, now next one we'll move on to is the POMMADIER cream from Saphir. This is higher grade, of course. It's got more waxes in it, but it also has the turpentine mixture in there. So the turpentine is intended to help soften the other 6 waxes that are in here, where the Surfine cream is beeswax based. This one has beeswax and 6 other waxes, so they have to add the turpentine in there to kind of liquefy those waxes a little bit for you while you're trying to use it. But anyways, we'll move on. Give single spritz, single spritz. Yeah, man, this stuff's working great. So this is the double coat right here. This is the single coat. I'm gonna literally just let it sit there for just a second with all the water that's beaded up on it. Now if I shake it, looks like it, yeah, came off quite a bit. But this is the single coat right there, or sorry, the double coat. This is the single coat. You can see that the water is absorbing a little bit more into it, and that's pretty cool. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. The next one, we're using the Tarago Nano. Now, most people don't actually use this. I mean, it comes in handy a lot of times to actually spray it on the bottom of your sole after any kind of treatments, conditioning, or even after shining, especially if you live in an area where there's a lot of snow or rain. It helps out. Now, this is more silicone-based spray. It is aerosol version that I used. So we'll go ahead and test this out. This will kind of give you guys an idea of how it might work on your uppers as well. So we'll put a single spritz, single spritz. Okay, rolled right off. It works pretty good. So this is the double coating there. It's definitely working a lot better than the single coating. You can see some of that water kind of soaking in right there, where the double coat here in my left hand isn't really allowing that. So I'm just going to tap that off, get some of that excess off. And you can tell that on this side of the single coat, it seems to be absorbing more. Again, remember, because halfway down this way, I did treat it on the bottom section and the edges a little bit more too, where on this side here I didn't. So looks like a single coat with just a top spray. It still absorbs a bit of water. Now this is that double coated one. Doesn't seem to be absorbing any water. All right, so we'll move on. Next one is mainly for the edge dressing aspect of things. This is the Renovating Creme. A lot of you guys understand to use this for your edge dressing on your shoes. Great stuff, very pigmented, so always be careful with it. You know, but this will kind of give you guys an idea for your edge dressing. Some guys do want to touch it up on the bottom of the sole too, if there's like a particular color sole that you had. Only problem is you still want to be a little bit more careful if you're going to wear them indoors, like on a carpet or anything. This can and most likely will rub off a little bit onto your carpet if it's directly on the bottom. Now I'm gonna kind of rub it here on the rag to just double check. And it looks like just a little bit of the coloring came off, but just a tiny bit. But that's just from a quick rub. You know, with a lot more pressure when you're standing on it, it could do a bit more. All right, so we'll go ahead and spritz. This is again for your edging. I'm gonna take a look here. It's not very noticeable, but it looks like it did absorb just a tiny amount into the spots that are actually treated. So not too bad. I guess for an edge dressing it works out very well. You know, this here is the double coat on in my left hand. Don't know how it shows on the camera for you guys. And this is the single coat. So the single coat, it does look a bit nicer, a little bit smoother usually, but it did absorb a little bit, and it looks like after moving it around a little bit, some of the coloring is coming off slightly. So be advised, if they do get wet, definitely don't walk on the carpet. Wipe it off when you get home after being in the rain or in the snow. This is the double coat. It seems to be just slightly on the double coat, seems to be a little bit stronger when you have that second coat. The single coat seems to be just slightly weaker when it comes to that. All right, so go ahead and put that there. Now this one, I'll save the red one for last. I'll explain that in a second. Now this chunk here, this is actually the JR leather full soles, oak tan leather. This is just a chunk that I had from a full-size sole. This will kind of give you guys an idea also when you guys have this sole directly. 95% of the time, most cobbler shops or anybody that puts on a leather JR sole, we tend to treat the bottom anyways, but I'm just going to show you guys as is, without any kind of treatment or anything, what this chunk is going to react like. All right. Okay. Now it took on a lot of that very quickly. You can see there's a dry spot right there, but again, our main concern with the sole is we don't want it to degrade, and so the water was just absorbed, it seems like, into the top layer from the look of the side here. Not too noticeable. This one right there, you don't see anything absorbed into the side. It looks like just the top finish absorbed some of it. All right, now this is kind of an extra for you gentlemen who have wives that have the red soled shoes, or if you have a pair that has red. This is from Angelus Walk On Red. It is available in red and black only. They haven't had any other colors available, but we're gonna test this out. Let's see, you know, just for the hell of it, this is just kind of like a bonus one for you guys. Some of you guys might be complaining, saying, why the hell are you showing us this? You're wasting our time. But why not? You know, I was messing around with it last night for you guys. Give me a chance just to screw around a little bit. But looks pretty nice. You know, this is the double coat. This is the single coat right there. Doesn't look like it really absorbed much water, even if after I rub it in. I'm trying to rub it to see if the color is coming off. Nope, the double coat isn't, and single coat isn't. Cool. So your wife's shoes or your shoes will be happy and safe if you use the Walk On Red, and it's fairly durable also, from what I understand too. It is a shade off though from the original red color from Christian Louboutins though, so that's the only thing. All right, so we're gonna grab our bowl now. We've gone through the spray test. Now we're gonna take each piece and literally just soak it. This might take a little bit longer, but I'll just dip it about halfway like that there, you can see. And it's just a quick dip, but this will allow us to see it from all angles. This is the double coat. We're not going to cut into it immediately. We're just going to give it about 30 seconds to soak in. While I go through this one here, this is the vegetable oil. There, okay. Now, before everything starts to dry out on us, I'm going to start cutting into these real quick. Okay, so this is literally down the middle. See if the camera will focus. Oh, crap, hang on. I wonder if this will focus in, but you can see that the top layer right here had been penetrated a little bit by the water after dipping it and just leaving it there for a second. This is the single coat sole guard from Saphir. All right, now we'll do the double coat. Just cut right down the middle. Okay. Again, same thing. It did penetrate there on that corner. You can tell that was a quick dip. It wasn't the spritz or anything. All right, we'll move on to the single coat oil. This is just a regular vegetable corn oil type of thing. It looks like the same exact thing also with the oil too. Just a very light, and if it's even visible, you can see very, very, maybe like a millimeter right there that it penetrated in. And we'll move on to the double coat oil. You can tell there. Seems like the double coat for some reason it gets in there a little bit more. It's kind of weird. I wonder. Ah, okay. There we go. It was kind of smoothened out there, but it still penetrated. You can. It's a very, very seldom dark spot there. All right, now we'll move on to the Surfine cream and the Medaille POMMADIER cream. So we'll flip the Surfine cream there. Oh, that's the single. This is the double, and then the Medaille. Soak those a little bit. All right, and then I'll do the Tarago Nano one as well pretty quickly. All right. Okay, so this is the Surfine Medaille cream one. Or not Medaille, sorry, just the Surfine cream. I'm going to cut into it. So that's a lot less penetration there, you know, a lot less. And that's just a single coat. Now we'll move on to the double coat one. Again, very minimal penetration as well. Now the POMMADIER Medaille cream. This is the single coat. Now, I think that spot actually, I should have wiped it off a little bit more. That corner right there is darker just because I think I ended up getting a little bit of water on it on accident. So, but fairly minimal as well. I'm gonna wipe that off to make sure that I don't have any excess water damaging our experiment right now. Yep, you can see very, very minimal right there. Just a small dark spot there, and that's about it. All right, now the Nano. This is the single coat Tarago Nano spray. I'm trying to go through this a little bit quicker for you guys. I don't want to make these videos too long, but yeah, you can see there's a little bit of penetration there. Probably a little bit closer to what the Sole Guard one was like, and the oil. But again, that was the single coat. Let's check out the double coat. Usually a double coat is recommended with them. Oh man, that one's completely dry. Just a tiny, maybe like half a millimeter of dark spot. You probably can't see it. The camera probably won't even be able to catch it there, but it's so minimal, you know. That's from the Nano spray. All right, now we've got these guys, you know, to move on. This is the Renovating Creme again for your edges. Now I've got the edges done on half portions, not the full portions. So I'll dip them in, set those there, and just for the hell of it, for your wife if you want to, the Red Walk On Red. Okay, and then we'll do that piece of Oak Tan JR Sole as well. Look at that. But probably dip it better. It didn't work out. Alright, so this is the single coat Renovating Cream. I'll wipe off that, well, I'll dab the excess off a little bit. And again, this is for your edge dressing more that you want to use. Yeah, kind of as expected. There's no penetration whatsoever in that section, you know, just because it went on as a coating more than something that absorbed into the leather. It absorbed slightly, but it settled over top a little bit thicker. Probably don't even need to see this is the double coating. Again, no penetration. That first one I showed you was the single one. Great for your edges though. Great way to protect them and save them. Your wife's Walk On Red, oh, after getting a little wet and wiping it, a little red came off. Alright. Yep, same thing as that Creme Renovator. No penetration, that's the single coat. And this is the double coat. Kind of expected, no penetration at all either. Now again, I wouldn't recommend putting these on the bottom of your soles if you're going to be walking indoors fairly often, or if you tend to walk indoors with shoes on, just because this stuff will wipe off and rub off onto your carpet, unfortunately. All right, now I've got the oak tan leather. You can see that it's still kind of darker, but our main goal here is to figure out if it penetrated as well. Now with that oak tan leather top layer, which again is a lot like the sole guard that we just used, and the oil treated as well, or the vegetable oil. This kind of gives you an idea with a vegetable tanned regular leather. Gave you guys a sample of the oak tan leather from JR, but you know, I will do a quick score rating for you guys as far as which ones did the best, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10 basically. I will also add into there either the ease of application or how well it also conditions or absorbs. You know, there are some of these items that are not intended for conditioning the leather whatsoever, and some of them that, you know, do very minimal to also just waterproof technically, but you know, work out very well too. So, you know, I'll do a quick rating for you guys. Now keep in mind though, if your soles are heavily worn, and you have salt that has absorbed into there, any current moisture that you haven't allowed to evaporate, your application may be very different. Well, not maybe, it will be 100% different than what we're messing around with here, or if you put it onto a new or slightly worn pair of soles. Now again, this is just for you guys to know what it's like to use different products in the bottom of your soles, because we treat the uppers all the time but always miss the bottom, and there's a lot of people who have been, you know, judging this product here, the sole guard from Saphir Medaille, harshly. Some people swear by it and everything, but this will kind of give you if you guys have any questions, comments, you know, I know this is my first time. I'm not a professional experimenter. I'm a cobbler by trade, second generation. This is what I grew up in. I'm not somebody that knows how to experiment properly. If you got any tips or advice or something, maybe down the road that I can redo a video or make another one, by all means, let me know. If you have a more direct question about any of these products, again, let me know. Now, one thing I did want to also mention, the big difference, some of you have commented, why can't I just use regular vegetable oil? There is a big difference between using regular vegetable oil and the sole guard. This is a lot more refined. It absorbs into the leather much better. It penetrates and gets into that leather. I mean, I put this stuff on quite literally just using paper towel. That's what I tried using for the vegetable oils, and the vegetable oil and the sole guard, just because I can absorb it better. The rest of these I did with my finger or by hand, but the sole guard penetrated much deeper. It went into that leather. It was absorbed very quickly, very nicely, less mess. Where regular vegetable oil, it was greasy. I had to make sure to set it on its own napkin to sit there and dry, because even the napkins, you know, were, you know, kind of leaking some of the oil still onto the table too. You know, it gets messy. It's a lot more messy, where this stuff also, you know, not only that it penetrates better, it's a lot easier to work with. The oil, it didn't penetrate as well, it seemed like. After kind of monitoring it when it was being soaked in, it just seemed like it just wanted to set over top and that's it, kind of clog up the pores. But you know, again, that was my main goal, to show you guys the difference between those two, and I just added all these extras. Sorry, been babbling on too much, but I'll go ahead and get this all taken care of. Questions or comments, comment down below or send me a direct message at facebook.com/cobblersplus. Unfortunately, my personal account where I post off of it, if for some reason it blocks messages if you're not my friend on there, so just message me on our shop page, or you can also get all the info there. And there goes the phone. All right, we'll see you guys later then.